Welcome back to the Resupply with me, Guy Next Door.
Me, DK.
And me, Than.
Bringing you your weekly double tap of all things Space Marines and Laser Force. We're back with DK this week. Welcome back, man.
Yeah, sorry I missed out last time, guys.
I know that it's not really, what you kind of want is missing out on these podcasts. So they actually enjoy doing them. So we're glad you're back.
I'm glad to be back.
Well, I mean, you're glad he's back. When he's gone, I get to talk more. So
that's true. Yeah.
You can't keep everybody happy all the time.
Well, no.
That is entirely accurate,
Look,
especially me.
The way I see it is, as long as I'm happy, I'm good. I don't really mind anything else.
I mean, you are producing the show. I guess we can make certain sacrifices.
I mean, yeah, you put producing in quotation marks.
Believe me, we do.
Yeah, cool. So we're back again this week, and I think over the next couple of weeks, we'll probably do some lead up to East Coast tournament, which is happening in February. Do you guys know the dates for that?
I do not, but I bet our guest does, or at least remembers them better than I do, which our guest today is going to be Peanut, a.k.a. Schmorg Borges, a.k.a. Scoony Bop Johnson, a.k.a. Scoony Boo Johnson, a.k.a. I Troll LF Stats, fuck you, Russell, a.k.a. John Britton. What's up, man?
Hey, man.
Oh, not much, guys. Your dates are looking at the 10th, 11th, and 12th, with practice being on the 9th for February.
Right on.
Right. I should have remembered that because if you had it literally 3 days later, I could have actually come. So I should have remembered when the tournament was.
Hey, man, we posted them. We tried to be as best as we could to everybody. So,
well, you should have sent them to my damn employers and had them jigger the holidays around a little bit.
Hey, we don't use that word here.
The more the merrier.
Is that offensive in Kiwi land?
Yeah. I can't believe you'd use the K word.
Question mark?
Yeah, hey.
I have a feeling that had we tried to run this tournament 3 days later with it falling over Valentine's Day, I have a feeling that would have led to its own set of challenges, potentially. Just throwing that
Well,
out
laser
there.
tag is referred to as my first wife in this household, so I think that would have actually been fitting.
Okay. So for you, it may not have been a challenge. For some of the, who am I kidding? How many Lasers players actually have stable and healthy relationships?
So there you go.
I do, and Sivo does, and you do ish. No, you do. So I guess that's 3. So maybe we're not the best sample size to be asking that question.
Yeah. I mean, all you need is your significant other to play Laser Force, and then you're set, right?
No.
No, it does not make it easier.
that would like straight up. Julie has flat out told me that one of the reasons that she never really ever played even casual games ever was that she does have a competitive streak in her, believe it or not, and she just didn't think that both of us doing the thing that was my thing originally would have been healthy for our relationship.
Smart.
It's true.
Smart lady.
You probably wouldn't have handled it very well when she inevitably got better than you.
Oh, accurate. because she definitely would have, because I'm fucking trash.
Okay, there you go. Somebody else said it, not me.
Yeah, it's a Resupply exclusive. All right. Well, so I mean, with this tournament coming up, and Britton, you're essentially the man behind the wheel when it comes to ECT.
Yeah, that's
right?
we decided to do this whole salary cap tournament idea.
So
me
awesome.
and Black Hammer from our site actually came up with this idea.
Yeah.
Probably 3 days after Nats. And we pitched it to Beans for an East Coast idea, and he just kind of gave me full range over it as far as setting it up, how we're going to build it. And it's been fun. But I'm glad we're almost done. We're almost to the part where we're actually going to be able to, actually play it. It's been a lot of work, but it is definitely fun.
Yeah, shockingly, setting up and organizing tournaments is a lot of work.
He does like sports betting on the side. Is that right? Like he does odds making for that.
Who, Beans? No, that's actually CC Elite. Some people may
Oh,
know him. Cody
I
from
thought it
our
was.
site.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I
He
got that.
does. He actually works at one of the casinos doing sports betting,
Right,
and
right.
he has been talking about making odds. I'm sure you guys saw that fantasy thing. I don't know much about it. I haven't seen him since he posted it.
Right. Oh, it's so awesome. Like, so we alluded to in the last episode that like somebody should make this, and sorry, no, we'll get there. We'll get there. The whole fantasy thing, it's in my head, but
Don't run ahead of yourself, Steve.
but yeah, this it's pretty dope that like this tournament's actually kind of happening because it obviously
It
sets
has
a
been a
template.
unique concept. I'm not sure. So the salary cap is where things actually get hard. Ranking players
Yeah.
using stats, I didn't feel like was a very accurate. Not everybody plays for stats, and it doesn't show for growth either. So
Mm.
I mean, you may have players that have gotten significantly better over that last time frame, or worse. It goes both ways. Um,
Who was actually like kind of instrumental in the ranking side of things?
the main people. So I would say we did a hybrid system. So Beans originally did post stats. He made his original sheet off of stats. That was the original thing we went off of. I didn't like it. It was some numbers were going to have to be changed. I wanted to hand rank everybody from jump. I know that wasn't going to please everybody, and it definitely made for more of a challenge.
Mm.
But when he made the stats, it went through 1 through 13 individual rankings, and because they were based off of random draws and stuff like that, you had players like Scythe at a 7 or an 8 out of
Wow.
13.
Yeah.
And so no matter what, there was going to be players we had to adjust and move around. So we
Yeah.
did use some stats. So ultimately what I did was I went through and I hand ranked everybody. And I will say one of our biggest errors we made for this tournament was releasing those pre-rankings. It caused a lot of confusion. I would not do it again. But a lot of people were bugging us. They wanted to know what was going on. They felt like we were keeping this big secret. It was just because it wasn't done.
Yeah.
So when we went through and we ranked all these people, we then went back and looked at stats, not even so much just from random draws, but stats from previous tournaments. You guys just had that West Coast. We were able to use stats for some of the guys from that and sort of base that in with it. Like, oh, I had this person at a 5, stats say they might be closer to a 7. Maybe we can go in between at like a 6.
Right.
We definitely had to account for our arena. People have not played here. Our arena plays very differently than what a lot of people do.
Well, certainly different than Detroit, which was the most recent tournament. Well, other than, I guess, St. George that we discussed.
Yeah, for sure. I would say us Syracuse players do not play nearly as well in 2-story arenas, but
Yeah, it's funny.
That
when
is
you
the stereotype.
when you don't have the muscle memory of actually having to look up. When you get someplace that you actually have to look up, you tend not to, and you tend to get screwed pretty hard by it.
right. And that's why, like, I know there was some confusion. We'll say Abby, for example. She played on our Nats team. She did actually better than we expected her to do. She had never played in a 2-story arena. Me and her went to Detroit and played 6 games like 2 months before the tournament. That's the only time she ever had spent in that arena, in a 2-story arena at all.
Wow.
She got ranked an 8 for this tournament. Some people felt like that was a little high, but I guess we'll see what happens when it all plays out.
When it's your home site, I'll kind of give you the benefit of the
Yeah.
doubt. If people who are used to playing in that field are going to be making that kind of call, because that does count for a lot.
For sure.
And your guys' arena is definitely like one of the more unique ones that I've been to because it's so.
Oh, dude, I
big.
wish you would have got to play with us when you guys came. That was
Yeah.
it would have been great.
It was we only played like I think it was like 3 games, and then we had to get on the road again, which was a shame because. Yeah, I actually really dug you guys' arena. Like, it's massive, the floor is glorious, and spongy.
AstroTurf,
And,
AstroTurf, and sponginess, and I have very clear memories of the first time that I played there back in 2011, and like stepping into the arena for the first time, and kind of doing that, kind of like bouncing on toes, like, wait a minute, this is nice.
Yeah.
And then getting
Not feeling
to
your
the
knee
end-
bones scraped together.
Oh God, getting to the end of that week, which was really shitty for other reasons, but getting to the end of it and not having my ankles and knees going, oh God, you've just been slamming us on concrete for the last week because you're an asshole.
And that was all the way back in 2011 when you were only like 65.
Eat a dick. It was definitely nice to not have the ankles, knees, and even hips at that point, and still, because now I'm even older and more fucking decrepit. It was nice not having those issues on a daily basis because of the way that Sanch did the arena with the carpet and the half-inch pad.
Nats for 5 days is rough when you don't have AstroTurf and you're so in love with it all the time.
So that's everywhere but Q's.
Yeah, that is for sure. But I will say we did a lot of work in our arena actually before this tournament, just because our arena, we haven't done much. Some of the turf and stuff was starting to kind of peel up, so you guys will notice, people who haven't been here in a while, we use some new Gorilla Tape and stuff like that. We're testing out some new stuff with glue, and hopefully it lasts up for a little longer. And we moved a wall. That's going to be fun.
That's pretty good.
Yes, I've heard about this moving wall.
Has it
that was a big
significantly
change.
Changed?
It is a big change. So red side's always been our strong side. And this now is a straight cut through into red. There's now a long shot straight into Bumblebee next to the E-door. For those who played, you know what that is. It's definitely much different. Yeah, basically. And it feels much faster. I honestly think people who either haven't played in our arena for a long time or have yet to play in our arena are going to have the advantage on that, dude. It is weird playing with that, for sure.
So I assume when you remove the wall, you just did it the traditional Syracuse method of having Baden run into it full speed?
Well, unfortunately, we did not. That wall got moved directly from in between 4 or 5 other walls. It literally is straight from the middle of a big section of walls that was there. It
sounds like it's going to actually be quite a fresh tournament all around, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, it as much as it is a small change, you wouldn't think it'd be as big. It changed the whole flow for red side, and none of us are used to it. Dude, we've been playing with that arena exactly the way it was for the last 10, 12 years. Some of us. We're not used to that change.
It's almost refreshing though, right?
It's fun to change things up now and again.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, there is some precedent for that. Literally, I want to say the day of what was that West Coast one in Sacramento, one of the West Coast in Sacramento when Sean added basically an extra ramp at the bottom of greens, so there were basically 2 ways to get to the switchback ramp instead of just having to go all the way out and around. And same thing, except that was literally day of / night of he finished it and it was okay, everybody's first games of the tournament. Oh yeah, here's this new thing that wasn't there literally 3 hours ago. The fuck? So there is definitely some precedent for changing your arena right before a tournament to really fuck with everybody. And honestly, I don't.
It's the best time, really.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I do think it is actually a pretty cool thing to make a relatively major change like that, right before a tournament, just to fuck with the home team too.
This is, I believe, 2 tournaments in a row we've made small changes in the arena.
Yeah.
The last time we opened up Dave's Cubby, there's a new spot in the entry door where it's severely underused by, I would say, us home team, but it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out too. It played well the last time too, so.
We were considering making a pretty major change in Auckland's arena just before Nationals, and as you'd imagine, the response from both home teams have been universally negative. So we'll see what happens. Yeah,
that was a nice teaser right there.
Tell anybody.
Yeah,
we just did it.
Yeah, I mean that's benefits of ownership being players, right?
You got to work on your teasers, though. Coming up after the break, we'll tell you the big change made to the Auckland Arena and why the home team hates it.
Subscribe now for pro tips and hints.
That's definitely more heads up than we got. When we did ours, Sanch messaged me and says, I want to pitch you an idea. We've been talking about changing red side up. And he goes, I want to move this wall here. I said, okay, let's do it right now. It was just me, him, and Dean. And we did it right then and there.
We'd been drinking all day.
This system.
We were hammered as. Yeah, right on. So, going back to the actual tournament. How many confirmed teams have you got?
So we have 7 confirmed teams. The last team's a little bit of a free ball, so giving so much control to the players.
Yeah.
having you be able to pick whoever you want. I'm honestly kind of surprised by the people who are left. But there is a catch. So we have one extra person over 8 teams right now
Right.
on the roster. Scythe, last I knew, I was going to get an answer from him probably close to the end of the month. We're almost there, so I should get one any day.
Yeah.
He may be dropping. If he drops, that 8th team can still happen.
Right.
And they're going to, honestly, I'll tell you right now, that team's not going to take last. They will not take last place.
Yeah,
Don't
obviously.
drop, Josh. We want you at the tournament.
Yeah, obviously.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Thoughts go out to Scythe, man. Like, we know you're going through some tough times at the moment. So, but I know a lot of people would be keen to see him. So, yeah, that's a pretty decent turnout though for the tournament, especially one that's sort of
just a regional tournament.
Yeah.
I expected 5 to 6 teams.
Yeah.
I'm ecstatic we have as many as we have. And to be honest, I think it's hard for me to pick even a clear front runner. I don't know if that's because of the system. I know some people were upset with the rankings. It's not a perfect system. Nothing you do is perfect. It was, it's very different. It's unique. But I can't pick a clear front running team. I know some people think my team may be the one that takes it all, but I don't think we're going to be. I think we're going to finish the top 3. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
But I don't see us winning it all.
Do you know what sites are represented?
We have, so a little bit different than normal. We actually have 3 people from the UK.
Awesome.
The Brit, who's a Geddon player, and we have 2 girls, Smalley McSmalls and Poison Ivy. I've never met either of those 2, but they have played in, I want to say, just that small regional they played in.
Yeah.
Around Christmas break, and that is it. They have never played with our rule set. They played pop shots, I believe, and they didn't play with penalties, I believe.
Right.
When they played over there. And then Marcus El Diablo from Germany, he's coming too.
Yeah. That's so awesome.
Those would be your farthest traveling players. I believe we have 18 people from Syracuse playing.
Yeah.
There's 10 or 11 from Detroit. 7 or 8 Sacramento guys. Let's see, we got Akadama and Applesauce. So a couple guys from Chula.
Yeah.
And there is only, surprisingly enough, I thought we'd get a better turnout from the Loveland crew. We only got 2 of them coming.
Soy Boys from Chula as well. So
yeah, that's a pretty widespread turnout.
It's very impressive for a regional.
Yeah. Is Dice coming? Dice, did I hear?
Yeah, I forgot about him. He is coming too. He actually, I asked the Wolfman yesterday, because last I knew he was not. He was coming, but something may change. Right. And I got told he is pretty much, unless something changes last minute, he's coming. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Canada's best.
Yeah.
That's up.
I feel like there was more quotes around that one too. I think you might be a little insulted there.
Well, no. That's what I've been told, right? He's Canada's Rusty. So, yeah. So I mean, that's fucking cool, man. Like every time there's a tournament that I'm not going to, I get mad FOMO and start like regularly checking out the airfares. But I've been told that I had a deadline and I missed it. So,
well, I think if I were to do it differently this time, I would release the player list, and we wouldn't let people make teams essentially until everybody got here. I think that would be the easiest thing to do.
Yeah.
Well, live and learn. It's the first time you've tried something like this.
Right, it's something different. You couldn't predict everything perfectly. Like I said, there was a couple things I would definitely change.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be a really good. I think this is going to be one of the most competitive tournaments I've ever personally played in.
Well, when you're actively trying to make teams like as even as possible
balanced
across
as
the board
possible.
by giving them a salary cap, that's hopefully going to be the effect.
And the big thing was I wanted people to play with. I like the idea of random draw. It is random positions. Finals is that there's no changing. Everything is random positions.
Right.
That was for a balancing purpose.
That's what we're going to ask.
Because let's say Beans and Baden play with each other. If those 2 play 3 hits, they're going to be very hard no matter who they pick up to beat that team.
Yeah.
So random positions balances that out across the board. Don't get me wrong, there's strategies you can go with. There's teams. There is a team. I want to say Caleb and Odin's team. They're playing with Wolfman. They have 7. I think they have 8 through 5. They don't have anything lower than a 5, but nothing higher than an 8. So they're going to be balanced.
Yeah, balanced all the way through.
That's not a bad strategy. My team is built 10-8-8. 5-4-3. If my 2 bottoms pull 3 hits, we're probably going to lose that game. I have high hopes in that.
Right.
And I built an all Syracuse team. So Never works out in our favor, but that's what happened.
So, what's the draw for doing like randomized positions versus doing like say a rotation tournament? Like,
rotated positions?
Yeah. Is that something you guys
just
had thought about?
No, actually, that did not get brought up.
Mm.
That wouldn't have been a bad idea. I may have considered that, actually. We're obviously a little too late into it at this point.
Yeah.
I'm going to stick with what we're doing. But that's not a bad idea either. It just never really got brought up.
Right.
So the challenge with doing a position rotation tournament, it is more in the admin side of it.
Yeah.
Because it does add an additional layer of record keeping that you need to be on top of, because you need to be able to say at any given moment where a team is in their positional rotations.
Right.
So that's one of those things that I don't know. I feel like it works a bit better in a league format where there's a little more space to breathe. In as much as you're not, it's not quite so go, and you're less likely to have the admin issues that come up with either missing a game early and figuring out, oh wait, fuck, this whole thing is wrong. Now, is it still something that would be cool to do at a tournament level? Yes, for sure. It's just you have to go into it knowing that there's extra administrative duties to keep track of the things.
We did it. We did an 03 in Oakley. That was a rotation tournament.
But there are only 4 fucking teams.
What? No. I think it was 6 or 7 in Oakley.
It was not 7.
It could not have been more than 6.
I think it was about 6. Certainly
we
not
didn't have big tournaments back then.
No. 6 was a good turnout. But yeah, it was tough, and like I think we even messed up the rotation, so we got penalized for it. So yeah,
I feel like you guys screwing up the rotation would have been an accurate thing to have happen. Yes, especially at that point.
We were a young side, even though we had Trev's elder statesman. Anyway, yeah. So I mean that's kind of cool. Like and like you say, like looking at the teams because they're so even. Like I can't remember who I was speaking to, but it might have been actually Dan, because Dan, your team is quite even as well, right? Like everyone is pretty competent. So yeah,
except me because I'm fucking terrible. Remember?
But I mean, even in like a like quote unquote bad draw, like you guys should be able to be fine.
Yes.
Yeah. Just don't play
Keyword
terrible.
there being should. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was the fun part about this, though. That everybody, you could build your own strategy. There was no key. If you wanted to build balanced, you could build balanced. Some people built stacked and took bottom. I mean, that was a strategy for that. How it works out, I guess we'll find out when it actually all plays out.
So when the team, so did you guys put the teams together, or did like the captains choose who they wanted?
That was the whole point. The whole point of this tournament, and how me and Zach even got talked about this originally, was I like the feel of random draw, but I don't like being stuck with whoever the fuck I just get. I want to be able to just choose who I want to play with. Right. And it's funny because it worked out that way. I didn't play with almost any of the original players I originally had planned out for a team. I wanted to play with out-of-town people, and it just didn't work. We've been trying to really grow our own SM5 base. Yeah. So I have 3 people who've never played in a tournament on my team. 3 Syracuse players are all brand new, fresh blood. So we'll see how that works out for them. I think it's going to be interesting. I think Max, Little Blaster, is a 5 on my team. I think he's going to be really good in this tournament.
Right. But like, does that mean that the other captains, like, were you guys?
So what happened with that was we gave literally free range. Do your own thing. So what we saw happening before we ever released rankings was you saw groups of 2 or 3 saying, "Hey, I want to play together." And they were starting. You couldn't really form your full team because you didn't know what the cap was going to be. You didn't know what everybody was going to be ranked. So they just were forming groups. Like I know Wolfman, Odin, and Caleb wanted to play together. They were talking about it a month or so before they formed it. I know Beans had 2 or 3 people he was in talks 2 or 3, 4 weeks before we actually released all the rankings. But you couldn't go any further. Like I knew my core 3 from the start was I was going to play with Zach, Black Hammer from our site, and I was going to play with Abby. That was my core 3.
Right.
And it was just kind of a free for all. And then from that point, we basically, you guys elect your captain. I don't know who your captain is. You guys make your teams and then elect who you want to be captain on your team.
That's kind of cool.
No set captains. If I did, that was actually tossed around doing set captains. But if I did set captains, because originally it wasn't going to be as much of the free for all. We were going to kind of rank people in pools and let them go, and we were going to take the 6 lowest or 7 lowest rated people in the whole tournament and let them be captains.
Oh wow!
Just for something different, for fun. That is the idea behind this, is for it just to be fun.
Yeah.
And it is a good idea to get some people who don't always have like captaining
Right.
or organizational duties take a little bit of a hand.
And
in
that's
that
what I was
rather
trying
than
to
having
explain to people. Being low is not bad. You want to be a low number.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I wish I could come in as a 2.
Yeah.
Right. And that's like, I know some people were upset. I should be higher than a 4. I shouldn't be ranked the same as this person. Well, you should just be happy if you think you're that much better than them. You're the steal.
Yeah.
There's going to be steals. You're the guy.
Yeah. You're the Tom Brady. That's who you are.
Right.
Yeah.
Coming up after the break, is Scythe even good? We'll tell you why we have him ranked as a 7.
Yeah, it cracks me out because we've done a couple of actually we've done one tournament here where we ranked everyone and built the teams based on a salary cap, if you will. And yeah, it's funny that people don't understand that you want to be as low a number as possible. Like,
Right.
who cares about your ego? If you're a low number, you generally get paired up with some stronger people. So.
And that was the point. I know some people, it was talked about in that same poster we did it, because my team was the first one posted. But
Right.
again, I did all Syracuse players, so it was easier to kind of coordinate with everybody.
Yeah.
I knew what I wanted to do. Some people were like, oh, you may have fixed your team. I have changed my team, I think 4 or 5 different times from who I wanted to take and who I could take.
Right.
So I just decided, you know what, we're going all Syracuse. But I originally had Ivy from Detroit on my team. I wanted to play with her.
Yeah.
She was ranked for what I thought she was ranked. I thought she was going to be one of the steals. It's who you think is going to be the steal.
Yeah.
So that's what's going to change things around.
There's so much like fantasy football element to the tournament.
That was the problem. Hand ranking everybody, it was not easy, and we changed. I can't even tell you. We did probably 7 or 8 different. We tried different systems, setting it up 1 through 5, 1 through 8. We did 1 through 10. That's what we stuck with. I thought it was the easiest. And then for the cap and how we got to the cap is it's just everybody averaged out and multiplied by 6. And it broke out to a .012 below 38. So we just rounded up.
Yeah, as you do.
Makes sense.
So, I mean, speaking of fantasy football, actually, we'll get there.
The Patriots are not in, so I don't expect to hear a lot on that front.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't watch football. So, there was, I guess, something else that's like new that I think DK you alluded to before we started recording.
Yeah, a little bird told me that you guys are going to be trying a new reffing system. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
We have not released much on this. I've been waiting for this since you guys messaged me earlier in the week. I was like, you know what? I talked to Beans about it. I was like, we're going to give the full breakdown on how this is going to work. So we have
Breaking
changed
news.
something kind of drastic.
This is a Resupply podcast exclusive.
Exclusive.
So it's going to be interesting to see how this works out. So the first thing we did, and Black Hammer's head ref for this tournament, by the way. So he has pitched probably half these ideas. I know he's not on there as tournament coordinator. He has had a lot to do with this tournament as well. And so as far as these reffing ideas, some of them were his too. So we did away with 1 through 12 ref spots. They no longer exist. We are changing them to red 1 through 6 and green 1 through 6. And the way this works, they're not all on one side. They are mixed together. So you will have red and greens. I didn't want one team on one side of the arena and one team on the other side of the arena. That's not how we're going to do it. But the idea behind this is you have your team captains go through and you rank your team 1 through 6. 1 being the most competent head ref of your team, and 6 being the most inexperienced. And at the start of your block, whatever color you are, that's the color you're going to ref for that block. What this does is it creates a couple different things. One, if I know red 3 is not in the game, I know exactly who that person is when I go to their team captain.
Right.
So now I know exactly who's missing, who didn't ref. 2, you should add some sort of a consistency factor. Now we're going to have 8 people reffing those spots the whole tournament with no change.
Right.
So if you, because everybody refs a little differently, there's no secret. Some people may think that was a blind fire. Other people may give you the benefit of the doubt and lean away from it. I mean, especially it is what it is. Everybody is slightly different. So that should add a consistency factor. The same call that got called at that point should be called at this point. So that was definitely one of the bigger changes. We are sticking with the 0-point penalty system with some modifications. We felt like the 0-point penalty system went
being...
fast. Well, with the 0-point penalty system, we like the speed of it. And that was the other thing. Now that there's 1 through 6 green, 1 through 6 red, it should take you no time. You're not questioning what spot you're going to. It should take you no time to get your ass in the arena and put your ref pack on and be ready to go.
Right.
One would
The
think,
other
yes.
thing
I think you underestimate how much people don't want to ref. But, you know, that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. The changes we're making to the 0-point penalty system is there's a cap. You cap out at 5 0-point penalties. That's what me and Beans have agreed on at this point. I feel like I felt like there needed to be a cap at Nats. And what better time to test it than an East Coast? That's
Absolutely.
when this stuff should be messed around with.
Yeah. The caps is a really good idea. Like
I felt like it
specific
needed to
hardline.
happen. You know, there should be,
Yeah.
and I understand you don't want to give people free penalties, but we are kind of working a way around that too. So once you're off your 5 free penalties, you go back to the old point system. You're getting your 1,000 points, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And same thing we played at Nats. If you get your penalty on the medic, you are still getting your points, and it's counting as one of your free 5 penalties. It's counting as both. Same thing for dangerous plays. Anything that's still points, it also counts as one of your free 5 penalties. So really, you got 5 penalties. If they're free or not, it's up to you.
Right. That's a good idea, actually.
It's kind of what we discussed before of like possible modifications to the systems. It'll be good to see
I
it
don't
kinda
honestly
know
applied in the field.
what they did at West Coast. I never really got much feedback, or if they changed it at all. This was something that I kind of came up with, and I was like, there should just be a cap on this. It would be so much. No one's going to feel like they got, oh, well, this person got 7 free penalties, this person got 6, and then they started getting points. I didn't want any of that stuff.
Well, yeah, it takes the decision making away from the player, right? Which is kind of a good thing. Like if you're like, oh no, I don't think this one should have counted either. Like it wasn't too bad. It's like, well, yeah, but if they've already been doing a bunch of stuff.
Right, if the damage is there, it's already done.
Yeah, yeah.
And unfortunately, I know some people are going to be sad about that. That does mean the return of the ref meeting, but they should not be longer than like 2 minutes. Okay, it should be if you can't decide whether it's a penalty within the first 30 seconds, I don't want to hear it.
Right.
You didn't know if it happened or not, as far as I'm concerned. So
Yeah.
the ref meeting should not take longer than 3 to 4 minutes. Remind you, the people who were reffing are sitting, so you're sitting either way. It always never made sense to me. You're going to either sit in the lobby or sit on a bench. I don't know what the difference is.
Wait, so this is when they come out of the game?
Yeah, it's play ref fit format, same as it's always been. So, like I said, we did make some changes for reffing, and it's going to be interesting. I know the 1 through 6 green, 1 through 6 red. That was a hammer idea. I liked it. I thought it's going to be something very interesting. We'll see how it plays out. But I like the consistency idea out of that. And then, like I said, man, I wanted a cap. 1 through 5, I felt like was enough penalties for you to go with. And be still kind of generous with it too.
When you say ref green, ref red, just to clarify, do you mean that they go and ref at green base and go ref at red base, or do you mean
every spot is going to be listed either red 1, red 2, red 3,
okay.
And they could be on green side. I don't want everybody. I didn't want this. Oh, this team's just going to ref red side, or this team's just going to ref green side. No, we're not. We didn't. We made sure to mix them up because you still want an evenness. You don't want somebody to feel like, oh, well, this team was sitting on this side, because potentially I would like this. If it works out, it would make sense to potentially adopt it in the later formats and the later tournaments. And so we'll see what happens, because I'm sure I know everybody really did enjoy the 0-point penalty system, but it needed to be tweaked 100%.
So in a match, are you gonna be green ref and Are
Nope,
you going to be
whatever. So
green ref
whatever
and
color
red
you
ref?
were, whatever color you started the block with. So whatever color you
Oh,
started
okay.
your match with, if you were red the first game of your match, you're reffing red both games,
Right.
just for speed factor.
Right. And it's more. It's okay. So it's not necessarily like base determined. It's
Right.
more about what color you were at the start of the block.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
Correct.
good idea. Yeah, that's a really good idea. And I suppose if people, if you're still running with specific ref spots, then people, yeah, like you say, they
Correct.
know
They're
where
all
the
the same ref
specific.
spots they were before. I think we may have moved one of them slightly.
Yeah.
But like Edor is still going to be, ref spread one. That is 100% what that is. And the entry door on the opposite side of the arena, those have always been our two most high traffic areas.
Right.
They are just listed as red one and green one.
Yeah.
So basically, we also adopted slightly the deputy ref from Nats into this. Your deputy, your head ref for your team is going to be at red one and green one.
Right. Interesting. Do you guys still had the ref spots that are up on those barrels? Is that?
Yep,
Yeah.
up on the pillars. Yep, they're still, and it's different. Some of our ref spots are up in the air, so you can actually see a little bit more.
Yeah.
Some of them you're on the ground because you can't climb the walls, and it's kind of up to discretion. If you can climb the wall, you want to climb the wall, go for it. But you can't expect everybody. I know my ass can't climb up all those walls. So.
Yeah, I might be in that same boat with you.
Yeah. But I can tell you, like Edor's on the ground,
Right.
which is kind of nice, and the pillars are very easy to climb. I can get on those. It's you have some people I know, like Lenny from our center and stuff like that. He'll scale the wall and get right up on top and just walk across it. Not me.
Yeah, that's a hard pass. Although if you fall off, spongy floor, you'd be sweet.
Right.
We talked about last week wanting to do a fantasy league. And I get a message earlier in the week going, "Hey, yeah, so we're gonna do a fantasy league for this tournament." I'm like, "Fuck yeah, man, that's awesome."
I can't wait
it's
to
a
be
cool
like, oh my
concept.
god, I can't believe Beans drew a reset. These motherfuckers better cover the spread. Type of shit.
I think it's a little easier in a traditional tournament format, but going like a random draw is
Now this is what makes it fun. That's
Hell
the best
yes.
part.
That's what makes it. That's what. Why do you think people like gambling on football rather than other sports?
Yeah, exactly.
random-
Yeah, I probably won't. I'm not going to participate unless it's like $5 buy-ins or something like that.
Already?
We need some money on this.
I think this it may have worked out better as a like I do like the format. The format is it's a per game style format, right? So you choose your lineup per block or
I
something.
think he said he was using it per block. I don't know how it's going to. So you basically get 2 games from this, and I assume you're going to pick 6 people.
Yeah.
So you're going to get 2 games for the 6 people you picked,
Yeah.
and then total the MVPs. I know they're doing it off of MVP values.
Yeah, that's right.
So if you pick Beans and Beans pulls, medic and medic, that's going to hurt.
Yeah, exactly. I think doing it like as a draw, like a draft style, would have been kind of cool. You get to choose
Drafting them and you're stuck with them for the whole time.
Yeah,
That'd be cool too.
yeah. But that might work a little better for traditional Nats type format. So
Yeah, that would be something I'd more interested in doing then.
yeah.
Hey, you never know. It's a cool concept.
Yeah,
And I know, I should have said this while we were in there too. Abby's talking about doing a full girls game. She actually mentioned to me the other day that we have 13 girls, I think, showing up to the tournament.
Cool.
They could actually do, instead of 1 girls team, they could actually do 2 full teams. She mentioned maybe doing the newer girls versus all the people who've been here for a while. So I guess we'll see if that actually happens.
That's pretty cool. I mean, that's like I'd imagine inspired by the potentially the all girls team that are coming in Nats.
That is actually what sparked that conversation was
Yeah.
the all girls team that could happen at Nats. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, well, that'd be awesome. That game, like, you guys should definitely run that.
Yeah.
Mean. All right. Well, I'm gonna.
I know we are probably going to do social Saturday for anybody that's there. I'm sure Beans will stream all this stuff because I know he mentioned doing social Saturday. Then the tournament's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday with practice on Sunday.
Yeah.
And then we very well, I know some people like Akadama, they're supposed to be staying here until like Friday or something like that. So
Yeah. I suppose it's worthwhile, right? If you're going to travel across the country, you might as well stay a couple
That was
extra
the
days.
German guys and the German guy in the UK. The people, they were the ones that were asking if we were going to play a couple days after. I'm
Yeah.
sure play. I don't know how much laser tag my fucking knees can take in this point in my life. I'm starting to feel like I'm 50 daily.
Wah, wah, wah.
Hilarious.
That's what tape and braces are for.
Oh, dude, there's not enough tape and braces in the world.
Cool. Well, did you guys want to add anything else?
I'm looking forward to hearing kind of a debrief after the tournament to how this all went, because I think these are some intriguing ideas.
That's what East Coast I felt like was where the stuff should be tested. You should be, that way. Especially if we had an 8-team turnout, we might as well throw in as much wrench in the works. I guess you can try. My only concern I have is we may have tried to change too much, but I guess we'll find out.
Pretty much.
It is a lot of changes to throw in, but you should be able to, I think, identify elements that worked or didn't work, so that
Right.
way you can kind of fix it going forward.
I'm pretty confident in some of the ideas. I think the 0-point penalty system, that still very well may get tweaked after this. It still may not work out well, but it's I think we're on the right track. The ref spot change, that was just something that kind of came spontaneously. So I like the consistency idea out of that, to be honest.
Consistency, I think, can be pretty key, because that is always one of the mix-ups that we have is, well, wait, do we have a ref at this spot? Do we have a ref at that spot? So, yeah, if you kind of know a whole block in advance, like, oh, yeah, I'm going to be here the whole time, that probably is a kind of a good idea.
So, the one thing, there's a negative. I can see people getting bored reffing in the same. So, say if you're stuck at red base, or you could be very bored reffing red base the whole game. I mean, don't get me wrong. Sometimes stuff changes up there. But, you won't. That's the negative.
Board every game. There's no way to fix that.
Right. I mean, there's not. Again, nothing is perfect. But I think we're taking some steps in the right direction here.
Well, that's pretty awesome. I really gutted I'm not coming.
Yeah. Same here.
Last minute flights, bro. I mean, it could still be a thing.
Well, maybe I'll turn up to the airport and just be like, "Yo, what have you?"
Hey, we have talked about the idea of teams taking a 7th. You just got to be under the cap when you go in.
Ooh, man, rank me low. Rank me way low.
Coming up after the break, Steve will tell you why he should be a 3.
It's weird. I never heard like so many clickbait, titles in one podcast. No, sweet.
I'm working on a new style here. We got to get those Patreon subscribes up.
Yeah. Let's make some money. Rad. All right. Well, fucking, yeah. Thanks heaps, Britton, for coming on. And
oh, no problem. This was fun. And I got, like I said, we haven't talked about much of the reffing system. It's too much to type. This was by far the easiest way to do it. We were going to wait till the tournament, so at least you guys got a heads up now. What's at least kind of going on.
Yeah, if we can, if we'll put some, some info out once this goes live, and just let people know, hey, if you're coming to ECT, you should probably at least listen to this podcast. So it's informative,
if they're playing Laser Force at all, they should be listening to this fucking podcast. Let's call that for what it is.
Yeah, damn it.
Well, this was fun. This isn't my normal thing, so I did enjoy it. I appreciate you guys reaching out and asking to come on.
Oh, all good. Thanks for answering the call. Like, as best per normal, everything's super last minute with this podcast. So,
oh, dude, that's my whole life. That's not by the hand of my pants. I'm not interested.
But yeah, thanks heaps for coming on, and we'll probably release this this coming week so people have the info with enough time for and prep for ECT.
Awesome.
But for this week, I've been Guy Next Door.
I've been DK.
And I've been Than.
Always remember to backtrack, kids. We will see you next week.